They say even the strongest men have one weakness. For Bumpy Johnson, that weakness was his daughter. Bumpy Johnson was a man feared by many, a king of the streets, a legend of Harlem, a man whose name alone could make enemies disappear. But one day, everything changed. A message arrived. "We have your daughter." In that moment, the powerful crime boss became something else. A father. Not angry. Not ruthless, but terrified. Because money can buy power. Respect can buy loyalty. Fear can control enemies. But none of that can protect the person you love most. The streets became silent. Every corner, every alley, every whispered conversation carried one question. Who was brave enough to touch Bumpy Johnson's family? This was no ordinary mistake. This was a declaration of war. Bumpy gathered his men. His voice was calm, but deadly. "You can come for my empire. You can come for my money. You can even come for my life. But if you touch my daughter, there will be no place on T, his earth where you can hide." And suddenly, Harlem shook. Doors were kicked open. Names were revealed. Enemies started running. Because they all knew one thing: a gangster seeking revenge is dangerous. But a father trying to save his daughter, that is unstoppable. Every second mattered. Every clue led deeper into darkness. And Bumpy had only one mission: bring his daughter home. No matter the cost, no matter the blood, no matter who had to fall. Because behind every feared legend, behind every powerful man, there is a heart. And when that heart is broken, the world trembles. This is the story of Bumpy Johnson, and the day his greatest battle became personal. When Bumpy Johnson receives the devastating news that his daughter has been kidnapped, his entire world changes in an instant. Known throughout Harlem as one of the most powerful and feared men on the streets, Bumpy has spent years building a reputation that makes others tremble at the mention of his name. As a man who controls situations, commands loyalty, and faces danger without fear. But this moment is different. This is not about business, territory, or power. This is about his family, his daughter, the person he loves most in the world. The message comes suddenly, like a knife through the heart. There are few details, only a terrifying truth. Someone has taken his daughter. For the first time in a long while, Bumpy feels something stronger than anger. He feels helpless. All the money, influence, and authority he has gathered over the years mean nothing if he cannot protect his own child. The man who has always been in control now faces a nightmare he cannot easily solve. As the reality sinks in, his emotions begin to shift. Fear quickly turns into rage. He knows that kidnapping his daughter is not just a crime, it is a direct attack on him. Someone has crossed a line that should never have been crossed. It is more than a challenge to his authority. It is a personal assault on his heart. RT. Whoever is responsible has made a dangerous mistake, and Bumpy intends to make them regret it. But beneath his anger is the pain of a father. Memories of his daughter flood his mind, her childhood, her laughter, the moments he promised himself he would always keep her safe. Despite his reputation as a ruthless and powerful figure, this reminds him that he is human. Behind the legend and the fearsome image is a man who deeply loves his family. The thought of his daughter being frightened or harmed tears at him in ways no enemy ever could. Without wasting a second, Bumpy begins to act. He summons his most trusted allies, demands answers, and begins searching every possible lead. The streets of Harlem grow tense as word spreads that Bumpy Johnson's daughter has been taken. Everyone understands what this means. The city knows that a man like Bumpy, driven by a father's desperation, will stop at nothing to bring his daughter home. This moment transforms him. He is no longer just a critic, boss protecting his empire. He is a father fighting against time, fear, and unknown enemies. Every decision becomes urgent. Every second matters. His power now serves only one purpose: to rescue his daughter. The kidnapping has awakened something even stronger than his reputation. A father's unbreakable determination. And anyone standing between Bumpy Johnson and his daughter is about to discover how dangerous that determination can be. For Bumpy Johnson, the kidnapping of his daughter is not just a personal tragedy, it is a declaration of war. The moment he learns what has happened, something inside him changes. The fear and shock that first gripped his heart quickly transform into a cold, focused determination. This is no longer simply about finding the people responsible. It is about sending a message to everyone in Harlem. No one can attack his family and escape the consequences. Bumpy has spent years building his empire, creating a network of loyal allies, informants, and protectors. He knows every street, every alley, and every hidden corner of Harlem. He knows who controls what, who owes favors, and who might be willing to betray him. Now, he plans to use every connection he has to find his daughter. He gathers his closest men who have stood beside him through danger and bloodshed, and gives them one clear order: Find her, no matter what it takes. The city immediately feels the pressure. Word spreads quickly that Bumpy Johnson is searching for his daughter, and fear begins to move through the streets. Shopkeepers whisper, gang members stay alert, and even his enemies become nervous. Everyone understands that this situation is different. Bumpy is not acting as a businessman or a strategist, he is acting as a father, and that makes him far more dangerous. As his men search for clues, Bumpy begins questioning everyone who might know something. Old rivals, former friends, street informants, no one is beyond suspicion. He knows that kidnappers rarely act with how to reason. Was this done for money? Revenge? A warning? Or is someone trying to weaken him by attacking the person he loves most? Each possibility makes him more determined to uncover the truth, but beneath his calm exterior, the emotional weight of the situation grows heavier. Every hour that passes feels unbearable. He cannot stop imagining what his daughter might be going through, whether she is frightened, whether she is crying, whether she believes he will come for her. Those thoughts fuel him. They push him forward when exhaustion threatens to slow him down. Bumpy's search becomes relentless. He sends trusted allies into every neighborhood, follows every rumor, and forces answers out of those who refuse to speak. The city begins to feel like it is under siege. People know that Bumpy Johnson will not stop until he finds those responsible, and no one wants to be caught in his path. For the kidnappers, what may have seemed like a powerful move has become a fatal mistake. They believed they were taking something from Bumpy. Instead, they have awakened something far more dangerous than his criminal power. They have awakened a father's fury. Now, every step Bumpy takes is driven by one purpose alone: bring his daughter home. Nothing else matters. Not his empire, not his reputation, not even his own safety. In this moment, Bumpy Johnson is not fighting for power. He is fighting for family, and that is a battle he refuses to lose. As news spreads that Bumpy Johnson's daughter has been kidnapped, the atmosphere in Harlem changes overnight. The streets that once moved with their usual rhythm now feel tense and uncertain. Conversations grow quieter. Doors close earlier. People glance over their shoulders, knowing that something serious has happened. Everyone understands one thing: when Bumpy Johnson's family is threatened, no one in Harlem is untouched by the consequences. Bumpy's influence over Harlem has always been powerful. His name carries fear, respect, and authority. But now, that influence transforms into something much larger. His entire network begins moving at once. Trusted allies spread out through every neighborhood, speaking to shop owners, questioning informants, and gathering whispers from places where secrets are usually hidden. No street corner is ignored. No rumor is dismissed. Harlem itself becomes part of the search. The people of Harlem react in different ways. Some feel sympathy for Bumpy, seeing not a feared crime boss but a father desperate to save his daughter. Others are afraid, knowing that his search could unleash violence that will affect everyone around them. Even those who have never spoken to Bumpy can feel the pressure building. His urgency hangs over the city like a storm waiting to break. Everywhere Bumpy goes, he demands answers. He visits familiar neighborhoods where his presence alone silences entire rooms. His eyes search every face, looking for fear, guilt, or hesitation. Those who know something but refuse to speak quickly realize that silence may come with consequences. Bumpy has no patience for delays. Time is the one enemy he cannot control, and every moment his daughter remains missing deepens his desperation. The streets begin to talk. Some claim they saw suspicious strangers. Others mention unusual meetings, hidden conversations, or rival groups making unexpected moves. Every piece of information could be the clue that leads to his daughter, or a trap designed to waste his time. Bumpy knows this, but he cannot afford to ignore anything. Each rumor becomes a thread he must follow. At the same time, his enemies are watching. Some may even be involved, others simply wait to see how far Bumpy will go. They understand that this situation exposes a side of him rarely seen: vulnerability. But they also know that vulnerability can create terrifying strength. A man fighting for power can be negotiated with. A father fighting for his child cannot. Harlem feels this truth deeply. Lice presence increases. Criminal groups become cautious. Ordinary people avoid being caught in the middle. The city itself seems to hold its breath as Bumpy moves through it like a force of nature, determined and unstoppable. For Bumpy, Harlem is no longer just the empire he built. It has become the battlefield where he must fight for what matters most. Every street holds a possibility. Every shadow could hide an answer. He refuses to believe his daughter is beyond his reach. And as Harlem trembles under the weight of his search, one thing becomes clear: this city will not know peace again until Bumpy Johnson finds his daughter. As Bumpy Johnson continues his relentless search for his kidnapped daughter, A painful realization begins to emerge: this crime may not have been carried out by strangers alone. The deeper he investigates, the more signs point toward betrayal from within his own circle. For a man who has built his power on loyalty and trust, this possibility cuts almost as deep, like as the kidnapping itself. It is one thing to fight enemies in the open. It is far more dangerous to discover that someone close may have turned against him. Bumpy has always understood that loyalty in his world can be fragile. Money, fear, and ambition can make even trusted allies vulnerable to temptation. Still, he believed that the people closest to him understood the boundaries that should never be crossed. His family was sacred. The idea that someone with access to his life, someone who knew his routines and his weaknesses, may have helped orchestrate his daughter's kidnapping fills him with both anger and heartbreak. As clues begin to connect, Bumpy starts noticing details he had previously overlooked. Conversations that seemed ordinary now feel suspicious. Trusted associates who once spoke confidently now avoid his eyes. Delays, missing information, and conflicting stories begin to pile up. He starts to question everyone, even those he has relied on for years. This growing Albite isolates him, forcing him to navigate not only the threat outside his organization but the uncertainty within it. Every betrayal leaves a scar. Bumpy remembers the people who stood beside him during difficult times, the alliances he built, and the promises of loyalty he once believed. To suspect those same individuals now feels like tearing apart his own foundation. Yet he cannot allow emotion to cloud his judgment. His daughter's safety depends on uncovering every truth, no matter how painful. As pressure mounts, cracks begin to show among his closest allies. Some grow defensive when questioned. Others attempt to shift blame or distance themselves from key details. Bumpy watches carefully, studying their reactions. He knows fear reveals more than words ever can. In his world, betrayal often hides behind familiar faces and polite silence. At the same time, his enemies may be exploiting this distrust. False clues and manipulated rumors could be designed to turn him against his own people, weakening him from the inside. Bumpy must be careful. If he accuses the wrong person, he risks destroying valuable alliances. If he trusts too easily, he risks losing his daughter forever. This emotional conflict becomes one of his greatest challenges. The kidnapping is no longer just a race to save his daughter, it is a battle to determine who he can still trust. Every relationship feels uncertain. Every conversation carries hidden meaning. The people he once called allies now stand under suspicion. But Bumpy's resolve remains unshaken. Betrayal may wound him, but it will not stop him. If someone close has truly turned against him, they will face consequences greater than they can imagine. His search for his daughter has become a search for truth, loyalty, and justice. And in the end, whether friend or enemy, anyone involved in this betrayal will learn that crossing Bumpy Johnson comes at a terrible cost. For Bumpy Johnson, the search for his kidnapped daughter reaches its most intense and emotional stage when he realizes he may soon be forced to make an impossible choice. Every clue, every confrontation, and every painful discovery has led him to this moment. He is closer than ever to finding her, but the path ahead demands more than strength or power. It demands a decision between revenge and rescue, a choice that could define not only the outcome of this battle, but the kind of man he truly is. Throughout his life in Harlem, Bumpy has built his reputation on control, discipline, and the certainty that betrayal must always be answered. His enemies know that crossing him carries consequences. Revenge has always been part of his world, a necessary force used to protect his power and command respect. But now, with his daughter's life hanging in the balance, revenge may threaten the very thing he is trying to save. As he closes in on those responsible, his anger burns stronger than ever. He imagines the fear his daughter has endured, the uncertainty she's feeling, and the pain of knowing she may be waiting for him to come. Those thoughts fill him with fury. Part of him wants to punish every person involved, to make them feel the same terror they have caused. He wants justice, and in his world, justice often looks like vengeance. But another part of him knows that acting on rage could put his daughter in greater danger. A single wrong move could provoke the kidnappers, causing them to panic or retaliate. He must think carefully. Every instinct tells him to strike immediately, yet every fatherly instinct tells him to protect his daughter first. This conflict tears at him. For perhaps the first time, his power feels like both a weapon and a burden. The closer he gets to her, the more urgent the situation becomes. Trusted allies urge caution. Some advise negotiation. Others encourage force. Bumpy listens, but the final decision is his alone. The weight of responsibility feels overwhelming. His empire, his reputation, and even his own. And safety mean nothing compared to the possibility of losing his daughter forever. In these final moments, Bumpy understands something deeply personal. This fight is no longer about proving his strength to Harlem. It is not about fear, respect, or dominance. It is about love. It is about a father's promise to protect his child, no matter the cost. He is willing to sacrifice anything: his fortune, his influence, even his own life if it means bringing her home safely. Revenge can wait. Pride can wait. Nothing matters more than hearing his daughter's voice again, knowing she is safe in his arms. As he prepares for the final confrontation, one truth guides him above all else. Family comes before everything. Whatever happens next, Bumpy Johnson will face it as more than a feared leader. He will face it as a father, determined to rescue his daughter and prove that even the most powerful men are driven by the deepest love.